left on McLean Street, then drop off on the left.
Hey, honey, we warming up now. Hold up, look. Yeah, so I'm at Taco Bell because that don't bother me to have some American burritos and tacos, but yeah, I just want the soft stuff because I got Minnie with me. So we gonna head back to Columbia, South Carolina. Yeah, I'm gonna skip Atlanta because they trill. And I think I might get stuck working in Aiken, South Carolina on my way back. Especially if I'm fitting to make money all like that again. Okay. But I'm giving myself a break because I cleaned the car and it looked brand new again. Just whatever the people before me like that. Yeah. I have to keep turning off the AC because that wastes gas. Just blows half of the air from outside to regulate the temperature. I'm feeling like a something to go with this, like a smoothie, but I can't do all that right now until I get caught up. So I'm trying to no, you gotta be louder than all that. Myself, what you being patient for? We got the food. Oh. Oh my God. Girl, we ain't doing good for the camera right now. Hurry up. My stuff. We ain't letting that shit happen again. Now they gonna take their time, but we gonna stay on here. Cause we don't check dogs. So they look like a Thompson. I don't think they finna take forever. So this is the part where they've been taunting me about other cars that already have something on the back, like a... It's like if you do it once, you're a child molester. And then they think they could erase the video into any part of time. I gotta use the lid as a spoon. Oh my fucking... Okay. Direction to Lulu's car wash.
There's a Lulu's car wash 5.3 miles away. Navigate to that one.
I'll just do that in a different tab, cause, well, I mean, it's where I wanted to throw away our trash too. Okay, Meister, get down here. Hurry up. Just get down there. Come on. Enjoy some of that. Y'all damn.
Mile turn left to stay on Shady Grove Road.
Well, one too soon.
West Shady Grove Road. Mile turn left on West Ashford Way.
Hey. How you go? This look is sponsored by City Trend over here with these very gorgeous colors that go to, oh, I swear to God. Like, I ain't even made. Y'all, my weekend is shot already. I've been waiting at this Walmart for the Uber delivery order for like an hour. I ain't even been complaining. I just been acting like I ain't gonna change my clothes in the car. So I'm like about to go deliver food at Winter Park, Florida, near Full Sail University, and see if I can start the hurricane. Or see how lucky I am, y'all, because we've been at this for a long ass time. But for real, like, I've had it with this crackhead ass Illuminati chokehold. And then Atlanta's crazy. I think they kidnapped a cop on a motorcycle in front of my ass. So, I don't feel like hitting 4 hours, quote, 2.5 hours to Atlanta when I can get up to Winter Park, Florida in 4 hours. I've been there like 3 times, kind of skittish, was like, then saw how they had some sort of law against like homeless people. And I'm like, I'm not even gonna be that yet. Like, if I keep taking too long to go to move my online degree of like 14 finished classes to like the master's degree, because y'all, I pawned my Full Sail University gear back in 2021, and you know, I believed in Uber. I got my shit right back out of the pawn shop in 3 days, $1,200. But this time, I guess I made some white guy pretty happy. That was like $30,000 worth of gear, and I only borrowed $800 to fix the side view mirror on my Chevy Cruze with my face on it at the time. But I had pieced together my graphics, and it was so much cheaper than $4,000. I think it was like less than 100 per like. Y'all saw that thing. I was everywhere on the West Coast with it, and before I could think of coming to the East Coast for the first time as an adult, like that car got total in Sacramento, and I'm still like mad about that because my finance company, y'all, because I'm VIP in this world, y'all, my finance company let me go a whole year without making a payment on my card till I could do something about it. So when my car was wrecked, they paid me more than I financed that car for, but because I ain't made a payment on it in a year, they that insurance money went towards the car. So yeah, I think it's been like 3 years since I paid off that 4, 5. Yeah, like, man, that's gonna make my credit look so good, though. I'm like, you could go to Missouri and they buy Hertz Tesla rentals. and they're like fuck $16,000 for a 2023 Model 3. Then I think you still have the EV tax credit. I think they could give you between 4 to 8,000. And then you could use it as a down payment. So that was just kind of how screwed my credit was. Just can't afford a Range Rover. How funny is that? They ain't got anybody to be mad at, because I sure ain't gonna be thinking about buying that thing. Hold up. Well, okay, y'all. I'm heading out of Columbia, South Carolina. Or I guess I'm going back to Wichita, Kansas. This is ongoing, okay? I waited at Walmart for my Uber delivery. Like for an hour. They were gonna ruin my whole entire weekend. I could get caught up on my rental agreement. So, I had bought some clothes from City Trends, but one of the shirts, it was $1 though, has like student shirt on there or something. Like, I'm like, whatever, it's clean. If I want to deliver food and stuff, I want to be clean. So I learned to start washing my clothes at like Flying J's and Love's now, because I'm done sucking the dirt out of the clothes that I wear a lot during the trip. So I'm like, that's what I wanted to do before I start washing my clothes with the semi-truck drivers, so I don't get them sick. Or through like controversy, basically. So I felt like Aiken, South Carolina, I was starting to pick up the pace already on it. I need to cancel my subscription with Lulu's Car Wash, because they told me there was more locations in like South Carolina, but there wasn't. So I think they were actually in Augusta, Georgia. I was like, I like it because they have those things where you can blow the air vents clean, and the seats and the dashboard, and like the gauge and in between the crevices and the cup holders. That's what I was using that for. I would like wipe everything down and then dry them with it. See, they be trying to do that to snitch how much they would flip the switch. Fun fact. Everybody knows not the Silver Jizmy, but the Assassin Bowsers. So that was funny. I was thinking about riding it on my car in Nashville on my way back home. But the window marker got stuck in this little compartment down here. I like gotta use chopsticks to get it out. There's a little door open there. I swear, these little tricks that people be doing. I just would have knew not to write something that they could turn onto my dog, my Min Min. So I feel it coming. The $2,000 tariff dividend tax season check is gonna be around the time I was back in Columbia, South Carolina back there. Now I feel like it's gonna deposit on my way back to Wichita, but maybe I wasn't supposed to. But that's just how it is. They try to, like, their victims are supposed to run out of gas. I'm over here feeling like a Kardashian about everything. So, I wouldn't dare weave through Atlanta. I wouldn't dare try to drive through it on the weekend. I've been realizing for months and years now that I'm always driving on the weekend in between towns. I'm always nowhere to be found nearby because I don't. Okay, I just don't. Okay, we don't even need to speak of the devil. So I'm going to take 40 all the way down Tennessee, and instead of doing what I did in Nashville, because I couldn't, I have to go all the way up to Clarksville and then Princeton, Kentucky, then enter in the coordinates to go back to Wichita. Then it'll take me through Paducah, West Plains, and Highway 400 straight into Wichita from the east, from the side. So I think I'm gonna have about another week and 3 days in this rental to come up with $1,200 to $1,500. And I think I can pull it off. But like I said, Columbia, South Carolina, I've been thinking of this for a long time. And I was simply born where I shouldn't try to live ever again. Columbia, South Carolina. But really, I love how my accent has always kept up with me. And my hometown is sentimental value. People in the South are very much country, just like Julie Chrisley, and I love it to death. Okay. But it's hard for me to deal with not being a government official and not getting all that high power, where it is something only the president can get out of, probably. Those Illuminati chokeholds that they put on people. So I feel like I wasn't gonna go to Georgia to change my Social Security from there to Atlanta. I felt like I did that in South Carolina in 2022, but I didn't stay that long. You know, I couldn't figure out how to stay. And then Florida looks like I'm not gonna earn my stay because I always leave 3 weeks before a hurricane. Every time. I've never been there through the thick and thin. I'm about to never pay my student loans for Full Sail University. Don't you hate it when you trip on these? So, we heading back to Wichita, Kansas, y'all, because I really need that free food stuff to help me not spend money. Like, seriously, I could hop between 2 of those free food cards, and it's like cafeteria food, and I could save up money. I got 1 more week in this rental to come up with something. Yeah, I thought that was a supreme dip. Goodness, I could turn off this chorus. Yeah, I could not get stuck in South Carolina. But I was posting up at my father's house and I haven't talked to him. I gotta make sure I don't have to poop and stuff, because that stuff could make you feel drowsy. I be trying to get out the car to fart. Excuse me, pass gas. Yeah, I be so dumb. And probably never going to go to Florida in person. to stay. Like, and then when would I? I haven't noticed an alligator yet, but them bitches. They somewhere. I heard some creepy shit one time. Our first time. When I only stayed for 30 seconds. I tried to find me a car wash. Then I tried to find me a vacuum. I bumped the back right door on those cement pole things next to the vacuums. And I said, fuck this. How am I gonna be acting like a jitterbug already? And there's somebody riding around Orlando in a Tesla truck with a pink splat graphics on their hood. I think they honked at me one time. I think it might have been red. I hope this ain't the highway that I take back towards my way. I'm not sure if the rollers is gone. Biddy, be careful, cause the radiator gun ass motherfucker. That should be 30 years in prison. Hey, Minnie Min. I think it's gonna cool out. Here it goes. Oh my God, people's luck. It's like stepping out the car when I'm looking weird. Biting food and not eating it. Complaining. Why can't the bag open, girl? Shit, I need a hard taco in a minute. I'm like, this ain't still the Clarksville area. I molested my baby nephew when I was 11 on your face. That would too. Oh, now I molested my baby nephew when I was 11 on your Jews. Oh my goodness gracious, Lord Bruce Almighty, bitch. A hoe in the mood to get slapped. No, I'm playing. Mm-mm-mm. You done eating that one? No. Okay. Oh my god, the regular hot sauce is good. Did I mention the only time I eat Mexican food is Taco Bell now? Because it's like American cafeteria food version of tacos. Well, best believe it. So this was about $7, and I feel like the bag was heavier than what I thought. It was just heavier than like what it seemed like 4 items. Shit, I would have thought I bought like 16 items. So, I don't know where my big loaf of bread is, but I left this one by the spare tire underneath. So, I already knew not to drive through Nashville, y'all. Witch brew evidence flow chart. Hooligans, nigga. My shit. I had a couple of bites in a sandwich that I put all things or everything bagel seasoning on. And somebody really gripped that up. Like, it ain't in my duffel bag. I had threw it on top. So, I hope it ain't snowing in the Midwest. I think it said it wasn't going to be snowing. Ooh. Hey, we ready? So I found somewhere nice to sleep. I forgot to bookmark this one. But that's okay. I suppose it's on a regular route. But I was working for Uber in Lebanon, Tennessee for a while. Racked up some money. I mean, it almost felt effortless compared to Nashville and Columbia, South Carolina, because I just feel like they're not gonna let me save up money without whacking me. I even felt like I was gonna be shot in the Walmart parking lot in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm like, this is my hometown. I've been fathoming for the longest that people are born where they must not live during a pandemic and afterwards. Instead of weaving through Nashville, I took a whole completely different route. They wanted to wreck me so that I'd have to look for help at a bar. Because I told y'all I never ever had my first Nashville drink. And in order to complete their witch brew, that was one of their main things, is most people make the mistake of drinking because they didn't think that their FAGGOT was never gonna drink and mingle around and demand that they deserve love just as much as someone on the high tax bracket market. I be having to put my visor down, use my hand to cup the hood from shining, reflecting. You have to you can't even just look at the road sometimes. I feel like if you keep getting exposed to this light, that you could be going blind sooner than you think. So that's just how I think the world has a curfew. They probably think a lot of the criminals and the people who drive without sleep, it's named fatigue driving nowadays. They have these flicker on the headlights that bother people, and sometimes I escape it by pulling off and getting back on, no matter how many times that happens. where it was hard the whole time to keep up. So I could put another airbag system, like pillows and a big comforter for Minnie, so she could fit comfortably. Comfortably. Yeah, so I've been meaning to get a new seatbelt for her too. One that will also work down there with a harness on it. Yes. A harness that won't snap. Yes. I got dark roast coffee. I got Halls to coat my throat just in case something tries to ruin my vocal cords. And then this is when the car is off. I use this to charge my phone. I forgot to last night. And when is this gonna stop telling us to put our hand back on the wheel? Because I paid attention. I think I had my knee driving. And partially some of my hand. The hind. I do want to stress that the speed limit is there to help you save gas. I think it's real funny that out of all people, the speed limit can't be known for wasting gas. But I'm 38 years old and I'm everywhere. Sacramento, Florida, not just South Carolina, just not the Northeast region, and nothing like Portland, Oregon, or Washington or Montana. But I have been to Des Moines, Iowa. I have been as far as Chicago, but only to drop somebody off from Champaign, Illinois. Oh, and I like when the college graduates flood the streets in May. Yes, that was when I had a long trip to Chicago. I got skittish and left as soon as I got there, yo. I felt like they weren't gonna let me weave out of there, so I went ahead and the first thing I did was head southwest instead of take the highway. But I noticed a big rig with like 5 doors on it. Like, what the heck was that? The streets, the highway was packed. They were gonna be scooting, and I was somehow getting high on the way in. I don't even know. Like, I kept having to roll my windows down and turn off and on the air conditioner to get my rider all the way there. So that was like the main thing. Chicago is said to be cold. I don't like Ohio either. West Virginia. Des Moines looks cold, but I think it was it, because I was in a Avis rental, just like this Kia Soul, but this is a 2025 now. But I think my first Uber rideshare rental was at Avis. It was a Kia Soul. And I was going to Des Moines and Kansas City and South Carolina. I remember the Uber X was turning off and on, me being able to deliver passengers and I noticed like the government official limousines whenever they did. So every time I go to South Carolina now, there are government official limousines everywhere. This time I was on a delivery picking up some southern food, met some great older people walking past them. And I saw a government official limousine. I'm not sure if this one was a funeral service, but I remember seeing the window and one lady in the middle of it looked at me. I was in the parking lot. I just stopped. I was like, maybe it would be respectful if my car wasn't moving while they went past. And so I was already in the parking lot. I stopped, and I guess I didn't want to not look because it would have looked too suspicious. Like being aware of your surroundings shouldn't be thought of as uneducated and reckless, so mostly. But I am from Columbia, South Carolina. I was born on Fort Jackson. You can't expect me not to wonder who I am. So in Eastern Tennessee, just before Cookeville, I was getting gas at a gas station. I noticed a white GMC Yukon. I think he checked his front. But when I was getting gas, I don't know how I got gas on my left hand, but I got a whiff of it as I was getting back into my car. Then I found out that my left hand was full of gas, and it was kind of trying to ruin my voice. I've had this happen to me before. So I do want to stress that you can always coat your throat with honey and cough syrup to prevent anything strange from sticking to your vocal cords. It's cheat code. And I've been relaxing about it because you could wait a day, you could drink a ton of water again, you could lay off the sugar, you could wait a week, you could wait a month, you could wait 3 months, you could wait a year, you could wait 8 years to get your vocal cords back. So I definitely don't smoke or anything for the most part. But today, the dark roast coffee that I have in it doesn't have any sugar. I was hoping that the powdered creamer didn't have sugar in it, but it tastes good. Like, I probably shouldn't have put any creamer in it just to change the color. But coffee instead of sugar, I'm gonna try it today, because the worst case scenario is that you plan to be in bed and off the road by 8 o'clock at night. And this trip, I've been having to pull over early because, like, I don't know if I've been boasting about I could, quit driving whenever I want because I'm in a car rental, and the Illuminati can abuse the law in fleets to try to steal my dog away from me for delivering food and working for Uber. But I had to use my inner wisdom. And last night, all it was going to Taco Bell. I grabbed $7 worth of food, and I was back on the road. But right before it, I was getting drowsy. I had to take the next exit. I went over the line once. And I said that I can't just eat bread. And I said, I know I got enough money to get to Wichita, but I still want to work in West Plains and Springfield, because if I can stay and come up with $500, I could keep this rental another week, and then I could pay for the next 2 weeks by not spending any money on my way to Wichita. So that's what I was going to do in Lebanon, Tennessee, because Nashville be like, I'll work up a lot of money, but then at the end of the day, they hit me with an order that gets me reported for something, like an unsuccessful delivery. And then I feel like I didn't have to eat the food. I could throw it away, but if I eat the food, they'll report me. It's like, if you cancel the delivery, and it's not my fault that I was stuck on something before that, and it wasn't my fault, period. Like, magically, I feel like, don't taste the food, don't like the food that they like, or they're shocked out of eating it, and then they will report you. I really could have just thrown that food away, and I know that they don't tell you why you're supposed to throw merchandise away when the order is canceled or something. But every once in a while, I won't waste the food, and I don't want the order to be bad on anybody's part anyway. But I won't waste food. I've seen it handed out the window to me the whole time. Like, if I'll still eat it, it was still deliverable. People just can't wait, or they think it's never coming. But I think what had happened in Nashville was the streets were flooded. Nobody was moving. I turned around in a parking lot with an HSC in it. And then all of this, somebody was out on their phone like they were filming me, but the phone was up to their ears. I circled it. Then I took, and then I stopped at the street to turn right. The cars were all backing up, and then the Range Rover just went past me and made a right before me. And then I thought to myself while I was stuck in traffic, because I wouldn't stop right next to the Range Rover, I went ahead and got gas. And then I was never gonna make my delivery, so I tried to find another way around it. Then I noticed the traffic starting to move again, but I was like, I don't do the fake kicker. But yeah, they had canceled the order, but I made my other delivery because the other delivery was literally right around the corner from the Dollar General. And I also had problems finding a product. They were trying to buy toilet bowl cleaner pads, and those were missing as hell. So, like, I don't want to stress about it, and I don't want my customers to stress about it, but I be having to beat them to the punch. And I have to call customer service and talk to them instead of letting it be canceled and stuff. So that's what I ended up doing in Columbia, South Carolina. I was gonna head to Orlando, Florida. I was like, I don't want to trigger a hurricane, because Florida might be the only place that wants to be really freaking impeccably clean, to where their hurricanes try to wash tuberculosis off the street and anything gross off the street. That's how clean they want to be, y'all. They'll drown people to clean their streets with hurricane water. But I got hurricane confused with a tsunami. I looked it up. I was like, how tall can a wave get? 1 to 2 miles in the sky, y'all. Can you imagine how much you would drown? That is so scary. But I was talking to somebody in South Carolina, in Aiken, this lady in a rich home out in the middle of nowhere. She was telling me she had 5 cars and lost 3 of them to the hurricane storm and the tree branches. So it was basically wind gust, rain, and debris from the trees. I told her that I thought the flood went all the way up to Knoxville because the lake was drained of water. It was there. And then after the hurricane, because I didn't drive for a whole year. I think the hurricane happened 3 weeks after I came back from South Carolina. It went all the way up to Knoxville. I didn't work for a whole year, and I felt like Hertz and Uber saw that. I took a whole year off, and it was like I had no problem renting a car again. And I was back on the road. I had no problems renting a car for the last 4 times. 2 times since then. It was a 2024 Kia K5, 2023 Ford Escape, and then this 2025 Kia Soul. So I'm not feeling like stopping this time. I feel like God is with me. If people are abusing the law to steal my dog away from me, I can tell how I'm out of the line of fire because of God and being at the right place at the right times. I am that confident that that's how much I love driving. That's how much I love being with my dog. And that's how much having a car and Love's Travel Stop and Flying J's and Pilot is more clean than camping in a tent, boiling my clothes clean with laundry sanitizer and using the skunk to wash my body. The skunk like wipes that you get from Dollar General for $10 because you don't have to rinse. You put water on it and then it lathers up, and you like if you stay on top of that, you can keep yourself clean and then boil your clothes in a big. Somebody stole my tent stove. I was having fun with it for a while, but I had to stay with my mom for like 3 days, take all my showers, clean my clothes, eat good food, wash Minnie, buy new clothes, chop it up with my mom's, and then I got a Uber Hertz rental, and I finally just I can't stay in the East Coast long enough for my skin to get clear without lotion, and with my same 3 to 2 showers a day. Like on the West and the Midwest, my feet are dry and scabby. But if I go to the East Coast, like South Carolina, Florida, I can still take 2 to 3 showers a day, and then my feet is still gonna like not be dry. So I'm over there fighting for something I think they already know the deal. Like I gotta earn that I'm from the South, and I'm probably caught on this, but technically they wouldn't want to label me anything that they wouldn't, because I'm from the South. But I feel like they'll sell their own people out. Everybody's selling their own people out or something, like it makes a difference. Whatever. Like they are trio. But I'm telling you, Houston, Texas, talking about the land of the trio. I think they were talking about Atlanta the whole time, because I'm going to stress this again for the 3rd time, that on my way into Atlanta, I had some snitchy stuff on the back of my car. I could have sworn they like kidnapped a motorcycle cop, and then they were like wagging the motorcycle. I had to slow down. I was supposed to move over because I was near the on-ramp, and they had their sirens on and just lollygagging, weaving in the lane. And I was already going through Conyers to get to downtown Atlanta. So when I pulled over to take a break and let Minnie pee in a church parking lot with some kids, I saw another cop fly through with their sirens on. So I know that Atlanta's trying to kidnap cops and get it blamed on me, and then I think the cops are into that too, and they know how much of a chokehold they're in. They don't want to lose their lives, and they probably know that's all the Illuminati asked for, and I think they think they're a rich empire city already, because they would sacrifice their who is it by now. So like I thought Officer Robertson didn't want me to go back to Columbia, South Carolina, because I'm good for dropping off my riders without kidnapping them, without dropping them off at a Range Rover to shrink them into retards. And I thought I was good business, and then it turns out every time I leave a city, don't come back rich or you'll be a retard, is the vibe that I be getting from the legendary Earth's muscle memory. Okay, so I have to bookmark this area right here. I've been looking for this place again for too many times, but this Dollar General on my way back and forth to South Carolina, Nashville, whatnot. This could be like my little rest area. I think I'm gonna have to use the restroom again.
Head northwest toward State Route B.
I feel like the rest area I slept at last night, I forgot to bookmark it. Because for one, it's on a normal route. I've seen that place many times when I go this way. This is usually straight east out of Wichita on
In 200 feet, turn left on
Kellogg.
State Route B. Take the next left
54
onto State Route B,
Highway
right.
400. But then it turns into Highway 60. I think you make like a quick zigzag
Take a
and
slight
then
right toward US 60
on
West.
Highway 60 through Missouri to get back to Wichita, Kansas. I just saw an idiosyncrasy that
Continue for 170
was
miles.
trying to brainwash me as if I never left Wichita. So I'm gonna do all different things when I go to Wichita, Kansas. Because I think I'm not trying to let the East Coast rob Wichita, Kansas from my dog. Because I'm gonna have to do this with other dogs to see, like, how to get them caught. Like, they either try to floosh dogs that should have ran away before rideshare was ever a thing, or they wanted to shock my dog like a hairless cat the most. Like, I think that the Illuminati is looking to always torture the prettiest dog on earth to where it doesn't kill them and it hurts the most in a Range Rover. I think the whole thing where they used to shock dogs to see if they could tell color apart is still maybe what a Range Rover is. Where a dog has to watch the people they love get to fuck people. Play Exposed by Keke Palmer on SoundCloud.
Alright, asking SoundCloud to play Exposed by Keke Palmer.
I'm worried that Wichita, Kansas will hurt my dog to make sure I never want to leave Wichita again. So this, depending on how often I want to drive after this, is probably how fast they would pull that off. So I would just basically watch where we're eating our food, like not eating at fast food restaurants where they could immediately put it in there, and things off the shelf where they can guess what I pick. But if I can do that, then I can avoid them putting drugs in our food that affects minis, because I think Sierra made that song about ecstasy because that's like our next world problem to what Mexico does. I think it makes dogs' eyes sensitive to light, and then that's what blinds people. Give me time. Tell me who you had in my bed. Between the gasoline that was on my hands unprecedentedly and the sugar rush and the environment, I was just kind of worried about my vocal health, but I know how to get it back up to par. Probably been through a lot of trial and error because I'm not being what super cinematographer is when I'm driving a lot. But I without being in Wichita, Kansas, when I'm everywhere else, I get to poop on command at every gas station, y'all, and I feel like whether I eat or not before I poop the same amount of like full bladder poop, and that's scary. So I am scared to go back to Wichita, Kansas right now, but it's just kind of how life goes with what I need to do, how I want to do it, how long it's going to take for me to try to live where I want to live. But I was talking to the lady at the cash register, and she was like, "Oh, you got a puppy? I see the paws sticking out." And I'm like, I'm gonna go with the answer I've always been given. I think it's rude to ask a lady her age, and I didn't tell her like too much info. It's because I'm headed back to Wichita, Kansas, and that's kind of when things don't go my way. I gotta kind of watch what I say, because it will stick with you. And so I think we got to talking about me and how everybody dies, but not everybody lives. And I'm like, well, I'm 38 and I bet I look 12, right? It's like, what you think I look like? 12, 17, or 22? She said, I'll go with 13. I'm like, bet, that's what's up. Because, I told her I don't want to start aging once I get famous and everybody asks me what my age is. And then you got the car radiator guns, the engines that throw shade at you, and then they amplify the bright street LED lights in case you're not looking. So it just comes in all directions, and you just gotta learn not to stare into it, or that the world should be in at a certain time, and maybe what kind of people they think drive at night. So I'm like the face of That's All That Is. And one thing I can say is you gotta love to drive as much as I do. You gotta want your life as much as I do, and you can't gyp anybody for you to survive in any way, shape, or form, even if it's waiting till you find somewhere that you spend money at as a customer before you throw trash away, like at a car wash. I'd be like they've got the credit card swipe at Paducah for the car wash, but I don't need a car wash. I could do a vacuum and then throw my stuff away. But if I do a car wash, I'm just gonna clean the door ledges and maybe top off cleaning the car where the back logo is. It's some of the hood. The 3 car washes that I got kind of still didn't rub that off. So I was doing a couple of self hand like spray brushless washes to get the dirt, mud, and gunk off so I could run it through an automatic car wash. And I could tell you it needed some rubbing off of some of that. So the car came to me with like a dent and some numbers on the dent, because it was like super snowstorm, like just in case I got hit or stuck in a ditch or something, that it was just a car that already needed to be repaired. So I wasn't really mad that twice in my life they gave me a car that I kind of just stuck with. So yeah, 2 weeks ago, Mississippi snowstorm was scary, and I'm into going in the middle of nowhere in the darkness, narrow roads, and knowing how never to get stuck and stuff, and how to turn all the way around and go back the way you went and not get stuck in the mud, snow, or around tree branches or people. Come here, Minnie, this way. So, yeah, story of my life. Wichita kids is kind of try to do things that I wasn't doing before. That way they can't make it look like I never left. It would just, the moral of the story is they won't think they could whack boys. When you kind of do what you do as a preventative, it's real. You're just making sure they don't think they could go hard on you to get the whole rest of the job done when it all looks like it'll work. So I feel like I have a relationship with the government and the law enforcement that those neat tricks that I do aren't too far out of my way. Like, for example, instead of going through Tupelo in Mississippi during the snowstorm, and even if there was no snowstorm, it'd be like I'll go through the long stretch of Tennessee and then back down North Carolina to get to South Carolina. And then when I check in with my family, like this time I only slept in my dad's big yard like 3 times, and I didn't have to talk to him. After all this and me wanting to move to South Carolina, and me being 38 years old and still needy, he wants a paternity test before he starts spending money on me. So I try to just, if he says something to me, cool, but everybody knows my MO. I go to Blythewood to sleep, then back in Columbia, South Carolina to work. Atlanta if I'm on a deadline and I need to make fast money, but this time I was working in Aiken. I didn't know how busy that place was, how fun that was. I delivered to the hospital once, and they have this gorgeous smell. I mean, it's big, tall, wide open, and like you never want to go to the hospital for anything, but I mean, it was just that was original. That it smelled good. Like I'm like, then you have like the face of the owner, and they looked pretty young or whatever, and like seriously, and probably explains why. But I thought of not going to Atlanta. I didn't want none of that drama, none of the highway traffic. I didn't want to know I wasn't going to drive straight through or weave through Atlanta. So I'm always going like North Highway 77 in South Carolina through Hendersonville in Tennessee before I find out I should cut north before Conyers. And I just don't want to get stuck anywhere near Chattanooga. I don't want to take Highway 75. And if I can't go towards Birmingham, Alabama, and then cut north and go underneath Nashville to Clarksville and Princeton to Paducah, and then west, then I have a lot of nifty ways. Like I would have cut north at Knoxville, went through Clinton, Tennessee, Lexington, Kentucky. I eventually would have ended up in Champaign, Illinois, and on through I-80, but I don't want to take that highway. And the main first reason why is because I've always taken that highway to Sacramento, and I never knew it went to New York if you go all the way east. I peeped game at the map. I scrolled in, and I was like, oh, wow, you really could just keep going east and end up in New York. But no, I always go west, and I always head south at Indianapolis. And then I went south in Columbus, Ohio once, because you're kind of like maybe going through Cincinnati, but then I cut through it to get to West Virginia, and then you take 3 tolls highways to get up to South Carolina from there. But I'm not sure how I would get stuck in South Carolina where they got a death grip on me. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Once I found a white guy to be with, I'm not sure if the South was capable of all them niggas being like, haha, it's y'all turn to suffer what a tray is, and not me. Like I'm still wondering if they're gonna haha if even if I'm anywhere else and find out what I love. So basically, there's this stretch next to 24. I take a Cookville or so, Lebanon, and go north, and I could cut through to White House. I could cut through Gallatin, and you get back onto 24 by Princeton or Hopkinsville or Guthrie, but I go all the way because 24 by Clarksville, that highway gets backed up a lot. I'd ride the shoulder when I know they're doing that on purpose. And then you kind of just get to Paducah from there, and it's just kind of through here. And I just slept in Sykeston, took a long break in Dexter, and this was my most recent stop over here. So this reminds me of a place that they have in Nevada near Lovelock. The name, Winona. But I'm like, I just know that if I hurry up and get gas here, I've got a minute to go, because there's a Dollar General area over here, and then I could get to West Plains before I get to Springfield. I hate how the computer interrupts me, but Willow Springs always has a Love's Travel stop there. I think I go through that no matter what route I take. So where is West Springs? I gotta... Ew, there's a Lebanon, Missouri here too. I gotta be careful for that stuff. There's like a Columbia, Missouri. There's like a Dallas, Georgia. Like Power Rangers Turbo. And I ain't the Blue Ranger. Bunch of maroon cars over here too. Like my whole trip back, and every time I think of Wichita, maroon was the color of my mom's wall fireplace before her house burnt down. I gotta pee one more time, then we're off. And that's the end of this video segment. Come on, babe. Let's go bye-bye for a second. Honey. Babe, come on, let's go bye-bye. Okay.